Hey everybody, welcome back to Lunch Hour VR. I'm your host Max Noir. I'm here with my co-host Edwin Rogers, and we have a very, very special guest on today who we've been trying to get on for a long time. So I'm really happy to have you here. Please give a warm welcome to Kiira Benzing. How are you?
Hey,
Hi,
Kiira.
Max. Hi, Edwin. Good to see you here in this virtual space.
Exactly. It's been a many years since you swooped in and my meetup in New York City when I was having VR meetups, and it's been a while. So our paths have crossed, but it's really nice to connect here.
Likewise, Edwin. Yes, I think it was probably back in the Cardboard City days when we were talking about the stop motion animation piece that we did for in 360, and then turned that into an installation and led us deeper and deeper into what we're doing now with theater and VR.
Yeah, I mean, you're working on always some cool, exciting stuff, and I can't wait to jump right into it and learn what you're working on now. It looks really amazing, and yeah.
Yeah, so Kiira is known by a lot of people in the immersive industry to be an expert director at immersive storytelling as well as immersive theater. So very excited to learn more about those things, Kiira. Can you tell us a little bit more about what you've been working on, what you do, what's been going on?
Absolutely. So I am the founder of Double I Studios, and I've been working and focusing on interactive VR content. So I've done some things from stereo 360 video all the way up to volumetric capture. We did a production called Run In at Intel Studios. And we've been mixing VR and theater for years. We were doing it in a game that we were building called Metropoles, which was a continuation of Cardboard City that I'd mentioned that I talked about at Edwin's meetup in New York. And then that led us deeper and deeper into some work that we did with a company, a platform called High Fidelity, and a case study that we did with them. And they are going to play a trailer, it looks like, perhaps. A little bit, or showing a little picture. This is Jonathan David Martin, who stars as Zeus in our production of Finding Pandora X. So that's where we're at
Beautiful.
today.
So
VR and theater, bridging these things that we love so much, and trying to make the experience as live as we can.
awesome. So I've been hearing so much about Finding Pandora X through the community online. I think you guys recently did the performance at South by Southwest. Is that correct?
That's right. Yes, we premiered at the Venice International Film Festival in 2020, in these unique times, and we'd been there in 2019 with a production called Love Seat, where we built a local network with 14 computers that were generously donated to us for the production from HP, and transport an audience both in a hybrid way, a live audience that was in the theater that we built at the Lazzaretto Vecchio in Venice, and then also to a virtual audience. So we were really exploring this hybrid format. And then as we all encountered together this really unique pandemic that our society is going through, we took everything fully virtual and just built our current story world, Mount Olympus, completely in VR on VR chat, and have been welcoming virtual audiences. And as you mentioned, yes, we just had our North American premiere at South by Southwest.
That's super cool. We already have one comment coming from Candace saying, exciting. I agree. There's a lot of really cool stuff in there. And I want to take this opportunity to remind the audience that you can feel free to put a question or a comment into the comment section of whatever platform you are on, and we will be able to see it and pop it up there and address your questions if you have any. So I think now is a really good time, since you just sort of told us a little bit about Finding Pandora X, to show the audience a video about it so that they can have some visuals, and then you can tell us a little bit more about it.
Wonderful.
So, what do you say? Are you ready to meddle in the affairs of the gods? Now remember, Zeus is a little temperamental. We must approach with caution. The chorus and I have come to deliver you our message.
We'll cease to exist. Mount Olympus will cease to exist.
Iris and Hermes are alive. They're just trapped in a lower dimension.
Then we must find them and bring them back. See if you can locate the Pandora that's just died.
Who's ready for a trip to the underworld?
That was so cool.
Wow.
All
That is
live.
amazing.
Everything recorded live from that. So, our performers are live, our audience is live, and everyone is embodying a role in the show in an avatar. So our actors are embodying avatars, and our audience actually embodies the role of the Greek chorus, and we give them a Greek chorus avatar to wear during the performance.
I have so many questions. So you mentioned, what is the platform? Was it web? Not, it wasn't.
VR chat. Yeah. So we're
chat. Sorry,
we're building in a social VR platform. VR chat gives us a lot of customization possibilities. So we can have full-bodied avatars. We can bring in customized avatars. We're working with an avatar designer. Her name is Rhea Goldson. So as you saw, running through these worlds is the artwork of Rhea, and the Greek chorus avatar that you get to wear is also one designed by Rhea. And we get to bring in custom environments and work with a lot of really unique tools that VR chat allows for.
Yeah, that's so amazing. I mean, I've definitely thought a lot about different experiences with theater, but I've never seen anything quite like that. How big was the audience, just out of curiosity?
We keep our audience pretty small. So VR chat and a lot of the other social VR platforms can definitely, thanks, Scott. They can definitely hold larger quantities of people, but we want to keep people's frame rates high. So we recommend capping usually our audience at around 12.
Wow.
We are experimenting to go up to about 14, but it also enables for a more intimate performance. So you have a chance to get to interact with some of the actors. There's moments where we encourage our audience to speak, and we actually give them a really important line to say and deliver throughout the show. So it's right now we're playing with a smaller audience, but we're also exploring ways that we could scale and bring in a wider audience.
That's so amazing. I mean, I see we're looking at a recording of it. Are they mostly recorded experiences for others to enjoy in a different way?
It's not recorded at all. No, it's totally live. So everyone has to, so we've cut that trailer together from some clips that we've done as we've been collecting. We're pretty busy when we run a show. Like, our entire team is doing something. So we're either helping to get people in and, helping to get our audience there. I think even for people that are super VR savvy, sometimes it's new getting into a new social VR platform, and you have to remember how to, teleport and locomote and move through a world, and how do you things are a little bit different on your controllers. The way that you move in one social VR world is different from another one. So what are the kind of shortcuts and tricks, and we want to help people. So we basically give them onboarding time when they land in our space, and our actors greet them and help them through working with their menus and their controls so that they'll have a more comfortable experience during the show.
Wow. Wow.
So where is the audience during the performance? Is there sort of like an audience section, or are they like freely roaming around what's happening?
They are freely roaming. We usually have a handful that get pretty ambitious and go off and explore a little bit far. But when they do that, I think they find that they will maybe discover something interesting, but they're going to lose the story because we are concentrating in this space. With our spatial audio, we are concentrating the performers in different areas. Beth Cates, our lighting designer, has designed lighting in certain places because we want the scenes to unfold with certain set pieces. And we've built props and special effects to happen in those areas. So there are concentrated areas, but the audience is on their feet. I don't know if you saw, basically these little gray Greek chorus members like running. And that's really quite a lot of what the audience does. There's points where they stop and like take in a scene and they become more of an observer, and then they move back into, following the action and uncovering puzzles and solving things. We have these as branching narrative. The show is written by writer Alyssa Landry and the narrative director on our team. And she, created this branching narrative, and we basically embark on these two quests during the show, which feel a little bit like escape rooms where you're solving puzzles, you are collaborating with people, you are trying to help the main characters find the box of missing hope.
That's so fun. Gosh, it makes me really, really want to try it. I keep like missing the performances, but I am determined. Can you tell us a little bit more about the role that you've been playing in the creation or the direction of the performance, and what sort of that looked like?
Sure. So I'm the director of the show, and I work with everyone from the engineers to the actors. It could be, something from, sometimes my job is just to work with actors and help them, deepen their characters. And some of our actors are super accomplished in the VR performing space. They've been doing this for a while. Jonathan David Martin, who plays one of our leads as Zeus, he's been with us since the production of Love Seat. So he's a wizard performing in VR and knows so much and can teach so many people and lend, the kind of embodiment that he does with his avatar is very real. And because he is not fully tracked in the production of Love Seat, we had, full body tracking on our actors. But right now, due to COVID, everyone is remote. We've got different types of setups with them, and they're just using controllers and a headset. So there's less tracking, and yet our actors are still finding ways to kind of bring the sense of presence and physicality into the bodies of their avatars. And then I've also trained actors that are brand new to this space, how to get them up and running, to be comfortable to function in VR, but then also to give a performance and bring the sense of their character and story life into the bodies of these avatars. So my work, is working with the actors. It's working with the design team on the animations and the art that we are creating, working with like our lighting designer and sound designers, and then and music and composition. It's basically working with every department lead to try and pull everything together so that we can get an audience in there.
Wow.
Yeah, that's amazing. So I guess the director's hat is actually quite a few different hats.
Yeah, it feels like a conductor. Like we need to get like all the instruments, playing together, trying to get them all to sync up, make sure everyone shows up for the same rehearsal. We get everyone in the same room.
Right. So do you have any history with directing theater productions outside of virtual reality in the real world?
That's a good question.
Great question. Yeah, I trained as a performer in theater. I did my my postgrad in classical acting at Lambda in the UK. And I thought I was going to be on the stage, but I always had a love of designing worlds and putting teams together, which felt like a mix of both directing and producing. And I had directed some theater in college, and then was pursuing performing for theater, and then fell into filmmaking and started to design and direct these hybrid documentaries that were a mix of dance and film, and kind of combining these different languages, I guess, different types of narrative threads together in an abstract way. And by being at film festivals with my work, I started to uncover VR and just felt like that was the medium for me, because it took my love of theater that I had been performing in and mixed so much with my love of directing film and designing these fully 360 and 3D story worlds.
Yeah, and I think right now with COVID, it's really, there's been, not a lot of performances I've heard of drive-through theater, and people trying to find creative ways to solve these challenges and create performances. But I think that this leap into the immersive is actually something that's necessary regardless of COVID. I think it's really exciting to see people going deep diving into that direction. And I think, my work has been focused on like capturing Broadway shows in 360 video, but I think that this is way more interactive, and you can really have an experience that's unique. So it's just amazing.
Definitely, I think there's benefits to all of these things, right? From capturing to making them interactive. They both have merits, and the experiences are all important.
Yeah, for sure. Sort of what Edwin was talking about, I've seen multiple times around the interwebs, standard production companies that are coming up with like Zoom productions and, these really creative ways that they can keep doing the work that they're doing during the pandemic. So I'm wondering, do you have any advice for people in the sort of standardized theater production world who may be interested in translating their productions into the virtual reality world?
Definitely. It comes down to, the kind of intent and style of what their show is about and what they're aiming for. If they want a kind of proscenium style experience where they want their audience just to be sitting back comfortably in a chair, it's kind of lean back experience, then what we're doing is quite different. So it's probably not a solution for them. But maybe something, for example, also like documenting their show or documenting rehearsal, or like Edwin was talking about with 360 video, you could capture so much, and then you have a kind of archive of your show living on. You can still fully immerse people in a world and take people there and give them a sense of scale and what's happening around them that I think can be just as useful than what we're doing, which is, very interactive, putting people like inside their bodies, having them embody a character and move through a world and pick up objects. It's a different kind of experience. But if they want to give that level of immersion, then perhaps working with social VR, like an alt space, like a VR chat, or even like a Mozilla Hubs, which does give you a sense of agency, a world that you can move through, a place where you can be bringing in different types of assets and uncovering unique forms of mechanics to create interactivity with your audiences. There are worlds of possibilities. And so I think, a nice place to start something, all of these platforms are free right now, but definitely, some require having VR equipment. And I think that can be still a bit of a barrier to some people, but it is worth the investment, because you are able to, once you have a headset, you are able to do so much with it and be able to go to other worlds and visit other experiences to start to kind of understand what's being done in this space and how these tools are out there that you can build your own productions with.
That's leads me to my other next question, I guess, is what about like monetization? I mean, if it's 12, 15 people, I mean, are the people paying for the experiences? And how does this project getting funded and supported?
That's a really great question. And I think that it ties back to actually what our entire XR industry is going through right now, which is to try and figure out how do we monetize, how do we distribute? Does anything that isn't a game, what is the price point for that? And it's something that my team has been looking into. We are exploring the possibility of taking our performances live so that everyone that's been missing them on the festival circuit will have a chance to get a ticket. But, we do have to pay a back-end team. There's about 10 people between our cast and crew, 10 to 12 people that are running our production. So it basically is a wash by the time that we bring an audience in, and we then pay our cast and crew to show up and perform and run the show. What comes in ends up going out. So in some ways, it feels like we're in these kinds of early days of trying to figure out what the model looks like and what the price point should be and how we can fairly compensate people. And we have to just try and kind of, I think, look at it as, we're all pioneers. Everyone I consider that's working on my production is a pioneer because we're all experimenting in this together and we don't have the solutions yet. And, fortunately, we do have the wonderful sponsor HP behind us. But that is, not something that can cover a live show regularly on a sustainable basis. So that's something that I think we do have to keep exploring as an industry. How do we find the balance between bringing something that feels like it can be impactful for an audience and they can have an intimate experience, but also find a way that creators and their teams can survive.
Yeah, because I feel like the revenue for 360 experiences is a real big challenge that there's not one easy solution for. But I think there is a growing hunger for theatrical experience that people have been missing, and so I don't know the answer, but definitely. Luckily, you don't have to deal with unions. I'm telling you right now, because theatrical unions, woohoo, not fun.
We're definitely in a new space, and I think that we will be happy to be having those conversations when they all feel appropriate. But definitely we are in new territory and trying to figure out how to function in this new world, and it's a challenge to get the audience there. I think that there is an audience that's hungry to be doing this, but it does require having a certain level of ability and comfort in doing VR, or wanting to go get a headset and figure out how to get into the world and learn to teleport and pick up these controllers. Like, that's new. Some people might be more comfortable on their couch and letting the content come to them. Here we're saying, like, you're going to put your headset on and you're going to go into the content, and then we're going to make you teleport through these worlds and pick up objects and give them to characters, and like it's putting a different kind of expectation on the audience. So we're hoping that we have an audience out there that will be excited to do that and will want to talk to our actors and will want to pick up the objects and solve the puzzles. We're really hoping that will excite and energize an audience, and that there is an audience that's interested in that. But we also don't really know.
Yeah.
It's an experiment. And this is an exciting experiment. I am really I'm an audience member. I want to
You're
sign
all
me
part
up.
of it. We're all in an experiment together. And I think of VR is that still, we're all trying different things. We're all trying to see how people respond. We know that it's a powerful medium, and we know that it can do so much. We can create and invoke deeper, impactful experiences. We can transport people to these universes. We can give them superpowers. And our show, we teach the audience how to fly. There are really exciting things that are possible in VR, but it also requires asking the audience to step up.
Yeah, absolutely. And I hate to do this, but as we're sort of nearing the last 5 minutes, I wanted to sort of switch gears a little bit and ask you if you could tell us a little bit more about your immersive studio, Double I Studios, and some of the things that you guys have been working on there.
So Finding Pandora X is I would call it, our big passion production right now. That definitely is a big focus for us, and a lot of our time goes into that production, and is going into, figuring out how we might be able to bring it to an audience, to a recurring audience of 12 people every day, for some time. So that's something that definitely is something, we've been playing the festival circuit. We are exploring the possibility of also, doing some more things there, but, really also talking about, how can we reach an audience, that is completely global, and through the power of VR, we can. We do client work as well. We get, brought into different productions. I've worked with different types of clients doing 360 pieces, 360 interactive, volumetric productions. Our focus, I would say, though, predominantly is on interactive pieces. So even if we have something like 360 or volumetric content, we end up working in a game engine where we're building out a world, creating a world, creating interactive mechanics where we do encourage we like to call them players at the center of our experiences, where the player is doing something, where they feel they have a role, they have some agency, and they can have some kind of connected impact to the story and to the story world.
Yeah.
Very cool.
What game engines do you use? Is it Unreal or Unity?
Unity predominantly. We have done a little bit with Unreal. We're testing a bit with it now. We're running some tests with Unreal, but Unity's been great. We love them both. They're both very powerful, and they can enable, really interactive storytelling.
Awesome. So we heard a little bit about your goals for the future of Finding Pandora X. I'm wondering if you can speak a little bit on either your goals or your hopes for the future of your production company or the immersive technology industry as a whole.
Wow, yeah, like a future wish, right? Like what do we want to what do we want to like send out to the rest of the world? I mean, we would love to be building more VR theatrical productions, interactive. We would love to expand these to wider audiences, to find ways where we can still keep things intimate, but also expand to more people. So these are things that we are in early tests on. I mean, I want to say that this is all, that there's a lot of really wonderful exploration that's going on, I think, with other VR creators as well. I'm mentoring a team called Banksy, that's part of the Banksy group, that's part of the Fifth Wall Forum, and I know that they're doing some really exciting work, also bridging VR and theater and gaming, and interactivity and things together. So I'm really proud of what they're doing. I think that there's a lot of people that want to see how these things combine, and that's definitely, at the heart of my work for years now, is how can I bridge theater and VR, and especially keeping it interactive and keeping people embodied and building experiences that are meaningful. And if we can reach a wider audience and keep building out the universe of Pandora and get more people in there, that would be really exciting for us. So that's the long vision, but I think it's going to take a lot of building blocks to get there.
Wow.
Well, definitely keep us all updated on when we can have the Finding Pandora X experience outside of the festival circuit. And where's the best place that we can sort of keep up with what you're up to?
Definitely our website. We do our best to be reaching all of the social media platforms, but definitely our website is our place. We've got a mailing list there, so that is a good place. Yes, thank you for dropping it in there. Our Double I website is the right place to go to, where you can find our latest news of what we're up to and where we'll be.
Perfect. And we also have your personal Twitter. If anyone wants to follow Kiira on Twitter, you can find her at Double I Pro, because she is a pro. All right. Well, we're just about out of time, but I wanted to say thank you so very, very much for being on the show. It's been an absolute pleasure. And I think that both myself and Edwin and the entire audience has definitely taken away some very valuable insights about immersive theater and direction and all of the work that you're doing. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what comes of your work in the future.
Yes, I hope that to see more of you in the virtual worlds and to be able to have you all join us in Mount Olympus.
Yes, I would love that.
I would love that as well. It sounds like an amazing experience and very unique. I love it. I love it. Thank you so much for sharing that and joining us on this show.
Thank you. Thank you both so much for having me here in your virtual podcast show.
Absolutely. So lastly, before we sign off, I have to do what I always have to do. A side note on how hard it is to get paid in the virtual reality industry. Please consider supporting us on Patreon at patreon.com/MaxNoir. And yeah, we will use your support to continue bettering the show and to keep doing the work that we're doing. And we will see you here next week at the same time. So thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Max and Edwin.
Thanks, Kiira.